Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't ever met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Say.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No, I don't
care.
Headed my
way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, not so live from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill. Hope all you low lifers are doing well out there. And if you're like, what's a low lifer? Because you just clicked this for the first time. That's what the fine listeners of this program refer to themselves as, the low lifers. Some of them like the new sound effects, some of them don't. But I'm going to hit you with that double air horn this morning. This is the podcast for Monday, March the 14th. And we got a good one. We got a good one. Hope all y'all are doing well out there. Double podcasting last week. Had the live from Express Up, and then did a little chat about the Red Crest Bassmaster Classic. Some of y'all, man, y'all got turned up for that, for sure. Turned up. I don't know. Whatever the kids say. I'll look it up on the Urban Dictionary later. My kids are cooler than I am, and they say some jazzy stuff, and I try to keep up, and it's very hard. So appreciate each and every one of you low lifers tuning in. And I got a quick story for you. And you're like, none of your stories are quick. And that's true. So last week I mentioned that I was going up around the St. Louis area. I had to go do some stuff for TH Marine at a little conference. And this wasn't even part of the story, but I'm going to say this. The boat building industry have these shows and buying groups that different boat builders are a part of and stuff. And it was at like this really bad hotel. So to back up, you're coming off the high of the Classic, right? Everything's good. I talked about that last week. And then you turn around and it's like back to reality. And you're at this really bad hotel. This really crappy conference. Kind of deal, kind of set up, real bad food, hotel lobby bars, and that's just real life. That's the reality of my day to day more times than not. Surrounded by good people and good customers of mine, had a good time. But like they had this fake casino set up in the lobby, and we did that with like fake money, and we were like 2 miles down the road from a real casino, and it was just I was like, I don't think this is ever the life that I signed up for. They can't all be rock star days, man. They can't be. Sometimes even I'm sure Led Zeppelin had bad days. I don't know. But anyways, up in that St. Louis area, and I had a guy reach out to me. It's just random, man, because I'm terrible about checking messages, and I'm fortunate to get a lot, and sometimes I got a lot to weed through, to get to messages, and just don't have a lot of time sometimes, some weeks, and for whatever reason, man, this popped up, and Dustin Burke, Hook and Needle TV, he is a fish head, bass fishing obsessed human being like most of us, but he's also an incredible tattoo artist. And I've never seen Dustin really comment on anything, but he, and it didn't jump out to me. And he said, man, I listened a ton, and I watch your videos, and he knew everything from Lake Teresa to, a lot of stuff I had going on. It was very cool. But he said, hey, if you get a chance, I would love to tattoo you or just talk about fishing. Love to meet you. And he kind of shoots his shot, right? And, dude, I was so flattered over the fact that, and especially, he says, hey, you can check out my work here. And I look, and this guy's amazing. Like people that are super creative and have unbelievable talents just blow my mind. But Dustin is a very talented individual. Now, I checked out his YouTube channels, Hook and Needle TV, so he shows some of his tattoo stuff. We even filmed him giving me a tattoo. It's on there. Go check it out. It's very cool. He did a time lapse of me getting the tattoo he gave me. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, man. I had, meetings and different things, and I had all of a sudden this 4-hour gap in the afternoon opened up. I shot him a message. I'm like, dude, I can do this. If you can do it. It was his off day. He's like, meet me in 30 minutes. We go in, we meet. It's like, known him forever. Fantastic human being. Really cool life story. How he got into fishing. And Dustin is not that atypical, whatever that means, looking bass fisherman, the Bubba bass fisherman. He's got gauge earrings, covered in tats. Amazing artwork all over, and it's cool. When I asked him on the Instagram story, and some of y'all follow me there, you see that. What do you say when people just like stare at you at the ramp? He's like, hi. And I'm like, don't judge. Because, tattoos aren't for everybody. I've had them for many years. I don't have a ton. I got like 6. But it is interesting to me. I wear long sleeves a lot to work. Especially, like that was my deal. Kind of, you see me at shows, you see me wearing long sleeves a lot. I don't on here, but out of respect for people that might not like ink that much, I don't wear it. But it's funny when I like, especially for years when I first got them, you'd be hanging out with customers in a work setting, and then maybe they'd see me in a t-shirt or something fishing or whatever, and they'd be like, I didn't know you had tattoos. I'm like, do you look at me different now? Because it's like this stigma, but man, there's such a beauty to it. And there's such a, like all mine mean something to me, very, very personal. I've not just gotten, something just to get something. It's always something that I want to take with me. And that was my thing. Like my first 2 are my boys' initials, and so they were always with me on the road. And I know that might sound cheesy or crazy, but like I was traveling so much when Hudson was born. I wanted to do something like that. So he was my first one, and then I got one for Riderman as well down the road, and same guy did both of those. And then I got one after I got a divorce to kind of signify, what was going on there. And then I got one that's one of my favorite guitars, and that it has from the triple threat to all the kids, all their initials. Instead of it saying Gibson, it has their initials. The guy did a great job with it. And so Dustin, he said, man, we got time for a small piece, and what are you thinking? And I've got several ideas. I've been wanting to for a long time, but y'all know me, and as Brandon Polinick, this beautiful butterfly he sent in right after Mom passed. It's been 3 years. In October will be 3 years since Mom died, and butterflies were her thing. I've talked about it on here. So many of you low-lifers send me pictures of butterflies and things. It's beautiful. And, of course, we always think about Mom with butterflies. And I'd been wanting to do something. My brother had a nice piece done by a friend of ours here. And I just haven't found the time, or I haven't found the right person, or maybe I've been avoiding it, maybe, because it's I don't know. It's like it's a thing of, I don't want to say closure, but I don't know. I've just not done it, and I've talked about it a lot to the triple threat. I want to do this, and I've got, I don't know, and I don't know what to do, and so when I met up with Dustin, I said, he's like, well, what ideas you got, man? We got time for a small piece, and I told him that. He goes, I want to do that. And so Dustin did this amazing butterfly, and there's a Ryan Bingham song, Tell My Mother I Miss Her So, that I've loved for many, many years, and it's very personal to me. Even before Mom passed away, Mom and I, as you do with family members sometimes, we had a couple years there that were interesting in our relationship, where we didn't see each other as much, didn't talk as much, and so that song has always really spoke to me. And it's about somebody traveling and kind of seeing the world and missing their mother. And I think Ryan Bingham's mother had passed away when he wrote it. But Dustin did this. I'm going to roll up the sleeve on this old hoodie, and I'm going to put this in the camera. Hopefully you can see that. It's trying to see. Make sure you're seeing that. Amazing butterfly. Such detail. took him. I mean, he just took his time and the detail, the butterfly landing on the lyrics. Tell my mother I miss her so. But right there, man, we got Mama T memorialized right there on the old skins. So huge thank you to Dustin for taking care of that. And man, that's, I don't know. I just keep looking at it. It's the same as with my boys. You know, there's not a day that goes by I don't think about Mom, obviously, but keeps it front and center. So huge thank you to Dustin. Make sure you're following Hook and Needle TV. If you're ever up that way and you like tattoos, their shop is incredible that he works at. 12 amazing artists. I'm going to go back. I've got something else I'm going to have him work on. And yeah, man, thank you to Dustin Burke. So very cool. This fishing world, man, I talked about it last week. I'm so grateful. There's a lot of noise in it, right? There's negativity at times, and last fall was one of those times for me with all the Guggen BS and Rob Turkla insanity that he calls for me there, and from death threats, it's crazy. Last year was a crazy year, and I'll be honest, I've been really down on things at times in the last few months, and man, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore, honestly, and meeting you guys at the Classic and then guys like Dustin Burke, like that just, there's a reason I do this. And so thank you to Dustin. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you to the sponsors of the show. We're going to get them real quick, and then we're going to get our guest on. StarTron, Starbright, kicking ethanol in the teeth in your weed eater, in your chainsaw, in that log splitter. Hopefully you won't be using that very much longer, but most importantly, in that outboard engine. Nothing ruins a great day on the water like an outboard engine that won't run. Kick ethanol in the teeth with StarTron. Don't be using that ethanol-free stuff. Don't be doing that. Shake your StarTron. Text our guest real fast. Bait Works, Springfield, Missouri. And guys, these folks are putting some stuff out, and I want to say, Randy Blockett, love him, hate him. I know there are mixed folks out there, but there's a stat I heard this week of how many of those jigs they sold of Randy's, and people buying that jig. A lot of y'all like making meme pages, making fun of old Randy, and Randy put his money where his mouth is. I've seen some stuff. It's impressive, and it's a really cool jig. I'm still waiting on mine. Hand-tied rubber, old school jig, I think they call it. It's like $9.99. A lot of people, man, it was like fodder on the internet, mom's basement kind of stuff. It's an expensive jig. I won't lie, but they can't keep up. Incredible, man. They're trying to get caught up on those orders. But I actually talked to Drew there at Baitworks. He was telling me, and I was like, what? We're working on some things. Huh? You low-lifers. I got some ideas. You may be seeing some things. I'll put it that way. Some things that you might be able to cast at other things that swim around pretty soon. Working on some things. Very exciting stuff. But you can use code Duncan-10 at baitworks.com, bait-works, WRX.com. I just made a big order for my Gross Savon trip next week with the boys. And yes, I use my code because I'm that kind of fancy person. Use that code, get you a break. Their shipping and turnaround, if they got it in stock, man, it like you get absolutely like your phone goes and you get a text like immediately that your stuff shipped. It's impressive. So, and I keep hearing that from you low lifers. I see y'all using the code, so thanks to them. Last but not least, hang the freaking banner, the Bassmaster Classic winning banner, Express Boats, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Building excitement since 1966. They're the Herndon family. And it is just that, the Express Boats family. Jason Christie winning the Classic out of one. They got a lot of them blue trophies last year, but I'm looking forward to getting down to Gros Savant in that X21 next week and bouncing around. Catching some Louisiana bass with the boys down there standing on the sea deck. But if you get a chance to go riding one, go do it. If you see me at a boat ramp, slap me, not too hard, and I'll take you for a ride. But I think if, you get in one, you'll be like, what? It's an amazing, amazing vessel. high-performance aluminum bass boat, the original all-welded bass boat. Express Boats, the official boat of the Traveling Circus, and Low Budget Live. Here we freaking go. This man just won the Bassmaster freaking Classic. Ladies and gentlemen, needs no introduction. The Big Indian, as Wesley Strader says, Jason Christie.
Hello.
How are you, other than the fact that you're now Bassmaster Classic? Let's not even talk about that. How are you today, Jason?
I'm good. I've kind of hit a wall a little bit. I think my voice probably sounds like that, but I don't know if it has to do with talking on the phone all week or all that pine pollen out there on the water. It's one of the two.
It's probably a combination of allergies and interviews, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I was going to say, you're already, and for years, man, you don't have a lot lacking from the resume. Obviously, the big overwhelming story in bass fishing, for you had some close calls at the Classic, especially there, but you're used to interviews, you're used to videos, but explain to the people at home, like, when you win that one, when the confetti drops, how crazy does it get immediately compared to normal? Like a normal win.
I mean, normal is not even remotely close to this. This is how weird it is. I booked an interview yesterday for October. I mean, that far out.
Jeez.
And it's not like it's jam-packed every day because obviously we got to compete and stuff. But, I've talked to, I think if they, every single podcast and every single, media as far as related to bass fishing and even not even bass fishing. I mean, saltwater fishing and just boating. I mean, it's crazy. And, the first 2 or 3 days, honestly, I don't even remember it for the most part. It's starting to settle down a little bit now where, we got to go on with life as far as we're packing up now, getting ready to head to the next event. But yeah, it's starting to settle in a little bit. I think whenever I get home and get around, a lot of my family and kids and stuff like that. And just, I can imagine just sitting in the recliner and looking up there. I think that, it'll really, that's usually when it happens. Whenever you win, you get home, that's whenever it really sets in.
It really sinks in for you. And I know, so for those listening, these guys, their schedules are crazy. You've been gone, traveling the country for weeks now. Haven't been back to the old Okie State at all, and you're still in South Carolina, correct?
Yeah. We've been gone since January, and it's just the way the schedule laid out and where it was at. It's just hard. By the time we go back to Oklahoma, you really just go in, change clothes, and you got to turn around and leave again. So we stayed here, and we chose to stay this week, even before the Classic happened. And I'm really glad we did because, I couldn't imagine going home and trying to do the things that needed to be done this week as far as, talking to people and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I am ready to go home, though. I know on the way, whenever we're done at Santee, I have a stop in Birmingham and a stop in Little Rock. But I haven't seen my kids in a while, and I'm ready to go to the house.
Well, I heard a little behind the scenes story that the girls were trying to get there, and like flight wise and things, it just like didn't work out. And I know that they hated that, man. I know they hated not being there to hug Dad's neck in that moment. But I heard some behind the scenes stuff, obviously, and I know you're ready
I wish
to
they
share
could
it
have
with
been
them.
there because, they experienced what happened in 2018. They felt the pain just like old Dad did. And, the first thing that we did when we went off the stage is we went back to, they call it the recovery room, and we FaceTimed them, and they're bawling and stuff like that. But the thing that, that I understand and people have to understand is they have lives
That's
too. I mean, my
right.
oldest, she's in med school, and it's not like she can just take off for 3 days or 2 days and miss tests. And my youngest has got ball games, so it's they have lives too. But I guarantee you, they wanted to be here.
Oh, no doubt.
And like I told them though, I mean, you got kids. Your kids are with you no matter if they're with you. You know what I mean?
That's right, man. That's right. And they know what you go through, and they pull for you harder than anybody. But it is funny, and I think we talked about this on Boats and Pros when we did that. I mean, you're a girl dad, and I'm fortunate. I got one daughter, but 4 mean boys as well. But as they get older, they do have their own lives. That's what I'm realizing more. My youngest is 11 now, and they don't. It don't matter what you got the Bassmaster Classic Dad. That's all right. I got stuff. I got stuff.
Yeah.
And it is. It's like my boys are like, oh, cool. You had a great weekend at the Classic. Jason won. All right. Well, I had a basketball game.
Yeah.
And it is. That's how it goes, man. They don't have time for us as they grow.
I called my youngest. I guess it was the first time that I actually talked to her after the Classic. I mean, other than FaceTime, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm going to eat with my friends." And she's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Well, I just want to visit a little bit." She's like, "All right, I'm gonna go eat. I'll holler at you later." And I haven't talked to her since. So
all you dads out there listening to this, and you feel incompetent when your kids talk to you, you feel like insufficient, right? In everything that they look at, where they're heroes when you're little, and I think we're always their heroes, but they make you feel like crap. So Bassmaster Classic Champ Jason Christie gets the same treatment as the rest of us. So don't think the trophy.
I've learned, though, and we've talked about this. My oldest, she was by my side until it was like 12. I mean, she went deer hunting, fishing. I mean, if I went to the land working, she was with me. And then, it hurt my feelings whenever she started doing her own thing. And I'm like, all right, well, I have the next one, I'll just, she kind of, then the other two were my buddy. And it's so cool now because, the oldest, I think she's 23 now. And, the last couple of years, she's done full circle. She's back. And, I look forward to every day just visiting with her on the phone because, I mean, she's a person, she's an adult.
She's an adult,
she's right. They come back. I mean, so the people listening, and if you have daughters, they come back. I mean, there's just that 13 to 19 years of age where you tend to kind of lose them for a little bit.
You go on the back burner. Dad goes on the back burner. They're always daddy's girls, but you go on the back burner during that time frame for sure. We've definitely experienced that. We're headed into Harper. She's fixing it. She turns 21. God help the world when that happens, and she's legal to drink. But she's her own person. She's about to graduate from school, and it's very cool to see, man. But I speaking of behind the scenes stuff, I talked about this last week a little bit, but I got to experience something really I never have. And my wife, when I fished FLW, would talk about, man, it kills me when I can't get updates or things happening out there. And I'm sitting in the booth with Shanna, your lovely fiance, who I've known for a long time and worked together, and I consider her a good friend. And I'm watching her just truly about to fall off of a stool all day long. Like, she was so sick and nervous. And when we got there that morning, you only had like 2 fish. And she said, he's had a limit every morning. I mean, immediately she goes, he's had a limit every morning by this time. And I said, just, hey, he's got it. Things are changing. It's Jason freaking Christie. Calm down. I'm like, this is his, and all day long. And I made the joke. I'm like, I don't know whether to hug your neck or just quit talking to you. Because every time I would leave the booth to go do something, come back, she's like, you hear anything? I'm like, no, I'm not hearing anything. But seeing the emotion, man, like it really hit me. So I don't know, like I appreciated it so much, like what our families go through, I guess is what I'm getting at. No matter what you do in life, but on the biggest stage in bass fishing, watching her, who knows what you go through, who knows the struggles, who knows when you hurt and knows the highs when you win. It was very cool to witness that, man. And so you definitely got a ride or die right there. She was 3 o'clock. She goes, I got to walk around before I go to the weigh-in. I got to get out of here. She just left. And that was the last time I saw her.
Yeah, that's what made it special is, sponsors and family. I mean, it's easy for me. I have the easy job. I go fishing and I'm out there by myself and they have to sit on the sidelines and peek at Bass Track and things like that. And,
which may or may not have been accurate, right? A little bit. I don't know.
Right.
We'll
Whenever I checked in on the last day, I was driving to the arena in Greenville. And I hadn't talked to her. She didn't text me or nothing. And I started to text her because I know that they're looking at Bass Track.
Of course.
And, Bass Track shows I'm behind a couple of pounds. And all I was going to text her was, hey, it's going to be close. Because I didn't think that I had won by any means. But I didn't want her to think that, hey, we didn't have a shot. And I typed the text and I couldn't send it because I didn't want to, what happened Sunday was special because, Shanna said that she had talked to my mom and my mom told her, so, hey, he's probably not going to win. Stetson caught a big bag. We need to be prepared for that. And so she had kind of accepted, I think, that we weren't going to win. And that's what made it special to see, her reaction. I know I'm out there on the stage and they give me the trophy and confetti starts coming out of the sky and I get freaking form tackle. And I thought it was Prosnick. Like that's how hard I was hitting the back. And I turned around and there's little bitty Shanna there. That's
that ex-volleyball player coming out.
Yeah. She hit me from behind. And, but that's what made it special was just, all of those people that, you fish. I have the easy job. I mean, she takes care of everything. All I got to do is catch a bass.
Well, at the pictures, there were, Cody Rubner from Costa took a bunch of really great shots, y'all, and he sent them to me. I sent them over to Shanna, and it was that he captured that immediate moment she got on stage, and it was like the look of shock and awe and excitement. It was really cool to see y'all in that moment, man, and knowing what you've gone through in the classics and to do it, man. You said something on Boats and Pros. I went back and watched it. I hadn't watched it in a while. It's one of my favorite episodes that we've got to do so far, just because your story, from fishing with your uncles and your dad and growing up and learning everything that you became in fishing as this shallow power fisherman, jig fisherman, Jason Christie's the spinnerbait guru, all these things you learn from everybody you fish with, and it made you who you are. And I heard you mention that in an interview after the Classic as well. But you said when you lost the Classic, this was something I asked you. I said, would you change anything? Because, of course, everybody's like, you should have picked up a spinning rod, right? We talked about that. Everybody's got ideas on how you should have won the last one that Jordan Lee won. And you said, no, I lost it my way. I was going to win it my way. I was going to lose it my way. Fast forward to this year, and you've put in an incredible amount of work with Live Scope, and now have adopted that is a Jason Christie way as well, right? Like you spend all winter doing that.
Yeah.
That even though people at first glance, like that might not be what they associate you with, but you have really mastered that.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta. I mean, I look at it this way: every event that you go to, you have to do something that you feel like gives you a chance to win. And I don't remember what year it was. It was at St. Clair whenever I won with the old school pan optics.
Yep.
And every fish that I caught, I watched bite. And I used that a lot. And that I felt like then that gave me the best chance to win. And it's like this time, if somebody woke up right now and said Christie wins the Classic on Hartwell, I guarantee they'd bet that I caught most of them on a spinnerbait, and it just wasn't. I just wasn't feeling it this time. I didn't feel like that would give me a chance to win just because so many people were messing around in that dirty water. And, when I got here, I had a gut feeling that I needed to find something to complement the shallow water. And I spent some time out there and it just worked out. That's one of the things that I can't believe about the Classic is how, I was able to win on what I had. I mean, I had a deep hole that I felt comfortable with, and then I just had a solid pattern that, I could run around and fish docks. And, the deal about the docks is I really felt like if I did it for 3 days, I could catch 15 to 17 every day. And if I got a big bite, I would have 19. But I thought the potential to catch 22 to 25 was there. I really thought that I could catch one giant bag, one of those 3 days doing that. And it just never, I just didn't get those bites that I thought I was going to get. Fortunately, I got enough bites to win, but you got to do what you feel. And, there's so many people that, I'm just going to do it. I want to go to bed at night knowing that I tried to win my way. I mean, and that we've talked about that and other stuff, but and that may be spinnerbaiting, that may be frogging, and that might be live scoping. But I'm gonna try to do it my way. I mean, I've had a lot of people in my boat, and I truly believe this. When the going gets tough, which is a lot of days in professional bass fishing, when the going gets tough, you want to have something in your hand that you have a lot of confidence in, and that happened this week. I mean, I got as much confidence in a jig as I do a spinnerbait, and I mean, I got a lot of confidence in looking at them on live scope. I mean, so yeah, I did it my way, and gosh dang, I'm glad it worked out this time.
No doubt about it, dude. So old school versus new school, there's a lot of talk about that, and you had a mixed approach, right? You had the new technology with the live scope, and you're mixing it in something you've done probably 4 million times, I'm guessing, which is catching a bass on a jig off of a boat dock. You're as good as anybody. But where do you think, as a veteran, that we are headed as a sport? Because like the classic, you look at, everybody's got, they got to go visit the chiropractor because they're looking at live scope. You look at, hell, we go to events, St. John's River, they're looking at them on live scope. I fished the Toho Bassmaster Open. There's guys out there roaming around, looks like a carousel, looking at them on live scope. It is so strange to me that it plays almost everywhere now. Do you think that we will get to a point where people are gonna have to be better with either their instinct or casting ability and get back to the bank at some point because those fish are going to get educated?
I mean, I remember whenever side imaging came out, side view, clear view, all of that stuff. And Andy Morgan said it best. He's like, dude, I love it because all these guys are getting out there, they're idling and doing that. He goes, all it does is open up the bank. I think that there's going to be a time where the bank is open again, and it's not going to be as pestered as it has been in the past. But the thing is even up on the bank, even when I was flipping those boat docks that was in 2 or 3 foot, I had my eyes on that thing, just looking.
I'm the same way.
It's not going away. And, I look at it as, obviously there's some controversy over it. But it's kind of, I thought about it last night. If you're paddling around in a canoe fishing and a trolling motor comes out, I mean, when trolling motors come out, do you think dudes were like, oh man, no, I want to keep paddling? No, they, you want to get a trolling motor so you can, and it's the same thing. It's, we've seen so many things come along in the industry, power poles, side view, clear view. I mean, there's a lot of things, and obviously this has been a really big one so far, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something, in the future that changes it again. And we're changing, fishing's changing, and you have 2 choices. You either get on the bus or you don't get on the bus.
Get ran over by the bus.
Fine either way. There's guys that still compete not looking at it. There's not very many of them, but there is some of them, and it can be done, but it's just changing. And it's my dad, I take him fishing, and he's as stubborn and as old school as it can be. And I'm like, hey, get up here on the front of the boat and look at them and quit casting around just hoping you get a bite. They're right there. Cast, count down to 3, and reel
jerk.
that fish in.
And jerk, it's amazing.
It's just the way it is. I mean, and I I couldn't imagine. But you know what? If they come to me next week and say, hey, we're not going to allow it, then I mean that's the way it's going to be. I mean the same guys are still going to, you know what I mean? I mean
they're still going to catch them. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I had several people at the Classic, actually in the Garmin booth, say, man, I love all this stuff. I'd love to see an old school tournament, blah, 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 and see who comes out on top. And I said, same guys.
Yeah, bring it on. I mean, it's just,
and it's true.
You have to do, like I said, you got to do what you got to do. And I have embraced it. Has it changed the way I fish? Yeah, but it hasn't. I don't stare at it all day, every day. I mean, it helps me, and I, more so than looking at fish or my bait, I see brush piles and ditches and points and stuff like that. And, but yeah, it's here to stay. And I'm so glad that I've spent a lot of time, even crappie fishing, crappie fish is not going out and just catching dinner. Whenever I'm catching crappie of it, I'm actually practicing, looking at them and stuff like that for elite events. So yeah, it's all fun and games.
Well, and I think that it's just a tool. Alabama rig was a tool everybody freaked out over, right? I mean, it's no different than the technology that goes into building your spinnerbait, right? I mean, they're all high quality components. You've got different things. People really want to focus on that. There are naysayers of it, but it's here to stay. We got to embrace it. And, it's just, I think it's very interesting what it's taught us, where bass live more times than not, right? They are out there in the abyss more than we realize, I think. And, it's really cool. But I think for a guy like you, for me, the story of the Classic, not only redemption, but mixing the new school and old school was really cool for me. So I had to ask you that, because I thought that was just was really, really neat, because like you said, people see Jason Christie, oh, he's spinnerbaiting for sure. He's throwing a jig, he's chatterbaiting, whatever, but really cool. Two more things. I'm going to let you go, man. I know you're running crazy. I appreciate you doing this. Why Hartwell? Why do you click with that lake so well? You've got so much success there.
I don't know. I think, in a way it kind of sets up like some of the Ozark lakes. I mean,
okay.
I think one of the things is just big. I mean, you can get on a pattern, like the last day I fished docks that I have never seen before. I was literally running down the bank and looking for docks that had walkways that touched the bank, and I'd pull over and never been in this pocket before and be able to catch them. I think that's one of the things. But, over the years we travel around, and there's just some lakes that you feel comfortable with. And that's the way it is here. And it's not just the lake. I mean, I have a great place to stay. I mean, it's like home. I have a friend here who has a house. I keep my boat in the garage. I mean, it's just, I know where the gas stations are. I know how long it takes to get in to check in. It's just, it's almost, I feel like I've fished here 50 times, and I think my first trip was in 11, but I don't know. It's just a comfort. It's kind of, I think I said it on another interview. It's kind of like going to grandma's house. You know where the cookies are, and you know where the milk is, and you know that if you don't do something wrong, grandma's going to pinch you on the ear. So it's just feels like grandma's house to me.
That's awesome.
And the people here are so nice. I mean, and you hear that when we go out, but this place, like I rolled up on a dock the last day, and it's a 2-story dock, and I'm 50 yards back. I shut down, and I'm easing up there trying to sneak up on these fish. And my gallery shuts down. Well, I look up, and there's an old boy on the second story up there. And about the time I see him, he's reading the paper, drinking coffee, and he's rocking like he's riding a roller coaster. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. He's like, I don't care. He goes, just catch that fish, catch him, get him. I want to see you catch him, like that. And most people, or not most people, but sometimes you might take a butt chewing on something.
Oh, no doubt.
And that happened all over the lake. And I mean, I went out to eat a couple nights ago. Somebody randomly bought my dinner. They're just they're just super nice.
That's
here.
a good part of the world. I always said that about the Lake Murray area also out there. Like there's just a lot of, it always felt like home to me going, and I love Hartwell. Hartwell's one of my favorite places I've ever got to fish. Fished a couple tournaments there. It's an amazing place, but couldn't have worked out any better for you, dude. And so last but not least, there's this video going around the internet about you. And from the one and only W. And he said, man, I figured it out. Jason Christie, dude, he lets green cedar bushes. He lights them on fire. Is there any truth to that?
Maybe,
okay.
maybe.
All right.
He's a funny dude. And whenever he asked me that question one day, Wesley's always joking, but sometimes he's serious.
Oh, I know that. And y'all fish similar styles,
that
right?
has a little bit to do with maybe some Indian heritage, but it was when I told him that. And then I laughed when I saw that on social media. I laughed because I honestly could see him doing it. I mean, professional fishermen are kind of like golfers or basketball players.
Yes.
You kind of get in a rut and you will do anything that you can to get out of it. And I could just picture in my mind, of course he's got clothes on, I could picture in my mind him dancing over a fire in cedar smoke. So
probably wearing them bright green breeches that he wears. Hey, he made the top 10 at Smith the week he won the Classics. I'm just saying, he must have found him some cedar somewhere.
Yeah, I thought that he caught him some fish. So maybe he needs to keep doing that, and he'll get him a W.
Oh, man. So funny, man. All right, Jason, I really appreciate you, dude. Good luck at Santee. That's probably going to be a lot of fun, I'm guessing. I hear y'all got some interesting weather coming, but I think that that'll probably be one of them old big weight tournaments. It should be fun. And I appreciate it, dude. Y'all be safe on the road. Congrats again.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Christie, right there, Bassmaster Classic Champion. That guy is, he's the intimidator of bass fishing. He's Dale Earnhardt, man. He is, he's something, man. When I'm around Jason, I turn into this immediate just fanboy. And I've known him, for years now, and just a really good dude. But you can soak up so much from what he tells you if he drops some nuggets, and he does, and he did right there. So I'm grateful that he was able to join us there. A little bit of low budget. And I know he's been doing every podcast under the sun and getting chased down for interviews, but I appreciate him taking the time. Wanted to make sure that I had him on just because of the immense amount of respect I've got for him. And I'm so proud that he was able to pull off that classic win, especially on Hartwell. And again, congrats to him, his amazing kiddos, his mom and dad, and of course, fiance Shanna, who good buddy and great people right there, Jason Christie. All right. Appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in every week, whether it's iTunes, Spotify there through the Waypoint Collective. I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate you watching on YouTube. I appreciate you reaching out. Some of y'all have reached out about the hats. I'm getting them up online. I'm working on that right now. I don't have a ton of them in stock, but I'm going to have them up there hopefully within the next couple of weeks, guys. I'm running all over the place. This week coming up, going down to Gross Savon. That's like 4 or 5 weeks that I've been on a trip. Marissa and I were talking last night. As a matter of fact, I have put like 6,000 miles on my truck in the last like 2.5 weeks or something. Like I'm all over the place. So took a while to get them. And I'm going to get them up, and I appreciate the y'all reaching out about them. But very cool. Got Traveling Circus and LBL, and we'll get those up, and I'll let you know where you can find those. And I appreciate the support more than you'll ever realize. All right, going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues. Like always, be sure to hug your mama. And I will see y'all next week.
Tupelo, I never could make it last. Spanish moss, a Civil War ghost. Well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.